Hey everybody, and welcome to Queued Up, another exciting show for you today with my friends on the desk. We're gonna be talking CDL, what does the bracket look like for champs, and farewell to Attach as he retires, a great career left behind. Speaking of changing and retiring, we're retiring the Katowice Counter-Strike Major, and we're going to Krakow. It's a new spot, a new place, it's gonna be amazing. And last, League of Legends. We've got Team Liquid. They're dominating Dignitas, but Dignitas won game 2. Wonder how it happened? Find out here today on Queued Up, where the lobby's open, the mics are hot, and nobody is dodging. With me here today, Nick Thug Nasty Lavid, Davis Tad Tadlock, and Chris Party Foul Celestia. Welcome to an exciting show. I'm CJ Collins, aka the Pathfinder. It's great to see all of you here today on another Monday episode. There's been a ton of news around the entire scene. I feel like I woke up today and there was so much news to cover. I didn't even know where to start. But we've got to start somewhere. So we're gonna start in Call of Duty land. How do we feel about it? First, let us look at champs. It's coming up. It's in less than a month. It's in Canada. Our neighbors to the north, thank you for hosting. We appreciate you, alongside of the Toronto Ultra. But ultimately, let's look at this bracket and talk about some of these teams. How do we feel about this month off? Can any of these teams improve enough to be able to give themselves a better shot at beating the current frontrunners, which is FaZe and the Thieves? Nick, go ahead.
I think if anything, we're going to see if Optic's month with Mercules is going to pay off, as they have a crazy round 1 matchup there against FaZe. But the other matchup that I'm going to be looking at tightly is the Surge versus the Heretics. Did Surge unintentionally fall off last event, and is Miami actually real, pun intended, because of real? But yeah, that's the one I'm looking for.
If I were to comment on that, specifically on the Optic side, I actually do have a little bit more faith. I know I'm like the Optic hater on the show, okay? But like I do have a little bit more faith that if that team grinds for 3 weeks, I think they could give themselves a shot.
I really think so too.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're tremendously talented, and I think really at the end of the last major, you could really see them start to come together and play really well as a team. So I think they keep that trajectory. They could be a force to reckon with at champs.
Yeah, agreed. Chris, any thoughts on your side?
Oh,
over there?
I agree with you all. Again, I want to see that matchup again. We talked about this last time, but I want to see that Toronto versus Optic again, because that was a pretty good matchup last time, and I want to see if we can translate it again into this one.
Yeah, the other side, can you throw the bracket back up for us very quickly? I think the other thing that, I mean, obviously the Thieves and FaZe are the 1 and 2 seat. I do think, I was looking at this today, on the FaZe side, they have 6 trophies combined between all of them on majors that they've won or champs that they've won. So that team is just a powerhouse of trophies on it. The Thieves only have 2 on the other side. So,
ooh.
Yeah, so it's like when you look at trophy diff, FaZe is like way far and ahead.
And I want to talk about that too, because I think Thieves, I mean, you know, hats off to them. They have had a great year. They've won 2 majors, but they are just so cocky to me, and I just really hope they get double bounced straight up.
Thieves?
Yeah, Thieves. I can't stand them.
Is it just Scraps for you, or is it anybody else?
It's honestly the whole team. I think Envoy I actually used to really like, but I think with Hydra and with Scrap kind of feeding into his personality, I think they just all have such a huge head, and they really haven't done that much. I mean, this year they've been really good, but I don't know. They've just kind of been getting on my nerves. And really the thing that's pushed me the wrong way is the Challengers hate. Because kind of like I talked about last week, I mean, we've had 4 guys come out of Challengers just this season that are playing tremendous. And for them to say that there's no talent in Challengers, it just shows how cocky they are, because the team that's taking them that just beat them, and just Miami has 2 fresh players from Challengers that just got in your heads completely. That's the only reason they're saying anything.
Didn't this guy just clutch or kick that Hydra was a top 5 player of all time?
Yes. You can be a top 5 player. You can be a top 5 player of all time and still be ridiculously cocky and arrogant.
I actually like this as far as like a comment. I would definitely say the FaZe boys are pretty cocky too, though,
100%.
right? Like, and I think that
but like you said, they have the trophies.
They do have the trophies, a little bit more accolades on the back end of it. You know, Celium's kind of like this weird ego, you know, right? Where Draws is probably the biggest and loudest annoying voice on that side, and Simp is like he knows he's really good, and he's not like humble about it, like he's kind of egotistical in the same way. But like I think that is a trait of a winning team. Like you have to have a little bit of that, right?
Yeah. 100%. I think so too. And like I said, the main thing for me is just trying to almost bully and punish these challengers kids. Like, give them the props that they deserve making it into the league. And guys, they just beat you. Like, they're going to be talking crap. You can't just say there's no talent out there because they just beat you. So how are they not talented?
I completely agree.
And we'll see at EWC when the challengers teams get to play there.
Well, and that's the other part of this conversation. But it's like, I was looking at it today, and obviously you have champs, and champs is like the big ticket item, right? But the other thing that on the back end of this is EWC, and it's like, I don't even know where I put more weight right now, because they're both kind of huge, right? They're both similar in prize pools, about $1 million each, right? And so that's cool. One's in an amazing venue in Saudi, which is cool. I think going to play there, as opposed to, no offense to Canada, like, it's great. We're going to.
What do you got against Kitchener?
Yeah, right? Like, in the middle of nowhere, not really a well-known place. But like, I think the EWC event might hold a lot more weight. So in some ways, we kind of have 2 months before the big show.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. I think it's really weird this year with how that falls, and it just, I mean, you have a lot of teams that are trying to focus. Now we're not in champs. Okay, well, or maybe we don't have a shot at winning champs, but we have a little bit more time. Let's work and see if we can win EWC, and that gives us a lot of money as well. So I think there is some strategy and some thought going into that at least.
Yeah. I don't want to go to Canada. I want to go to Saudi. I've changed.
Yes, please. Yes.
It will be exciting. I'm curious to see in the next couple of weeks if we see anything like roster changes, like folks practicing, any clips and stuff like that. So we'll be covering those kind of news, but it will be a little bit quieter. But in other news, one of the things we are tracking is the challenger scene. And we did see a little bit of issues happen with the most recent update. If you want to go ahead and roll the clip. This is FC Draco versus Endgame, and this is for the last chance qualifier to go to champs. And if you look, it's the first round, and there's teams that are completely dead on the left side, and the game didn't end. The game just kept going. So this is interesting because obviously we have updates that happen in Call of Duty, and those updates impact the gameplay. And so this is obviously a game-breaking bug. I think that, like, anytime you have to restart the game and start it over again is ridiculous. But I don't know, any thoughts from anybody on that one?
Unfortunate. I mean, like you said, nobody wants to have to end the game. And I feel like this year there's been a ton of problems with Black Ops 6, and especially the spectator and like CODcaster mode. Unfortunate. Thankfully, it's not that big of like a game breaking. I mean, the round's not ending, so I mean, maybe it is kind of game breaking, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Not good.
I bet these devs, when they had the meeting about the calendar of when to push these updates, they didn't even look at the challengers calendar. They had the CDL calendar, and they're like, "Oh, this is a month away from champs. Yeah, this is a good time." And they're like, "Oh wait, there's challengers. Maybe whoops."
We can come back and fix it.
And then they were like, well, who cares? Push it out.
Fine.
Maybe on the opposite end, it was planned that way, so it happens on the challengers, and they can kind of use that
field test it
before camps, which kind of sucks, especially with all the news around the tier 2 scene. First players are going at them now. Devs may be going at them a little bit as well.
Yeah,
kind of using them as guinea pigs, but I guess maybe if you're in the pro scene, at least it happened now so that they patched it before champs as well.
Yeah, and and I guess that's one good thing about Call of Duty that they don't have to worry about as much as they do on like the Valorant or other game side of like nerfs and buffs, right? Because this doesn't affect any of the meta composition. It's just fixing the game in certain ways.
Yeah, and I think that I love, like, if you look at Riot as an example, and we talked about this when the Spirit Blossom update came out. Now we have Spirit Blossom, we play through the entire update, the season ends, a new update comes out, and then they kind of roll through it again, and there's a practice period in there. And it's like, Call of Duty is older than League of Legends. It's been around longer, right? Like, why are we still off this, like, off meta patch where, like, the patch comes out and it's actually timed with the season and stuff like that? And I know the reason, it's money, and the developer doesn't care about when that happens. So, but it is disappointing, I think. RIP updates when they happen. So sad. Good luck, challengers players.
Good luck.
I'm sorry. Okay, cool. The next segment's gonna be Counter-Strike. The major is upon us. The stage 1 major is upon us. And we're going to Austin, Texas, which is a great spot. We were just in Dallas, so all the teams literally just went 3 hours south, about a week and a half later. But it's exciting. We have a lot of energy. We got stickers. We got all kinds of skins coming into this one. But what are you looking forward to most, Davis, with this Counter-Strike major coming up?
For me, it's really just the whole, I mean, if you love Counter-Strike, this is what you want, the major. I mean, it's basically like 3 tournaments within one. I mean, you have stage 1, you have teams that are all around the same caliber competing. You move to stage 2, same caliber teams, until you get your stage 3 to where you arrive with your best players from the tournament. So I'm just really excited to see all the matches. I think it's really cool to see, you know, kind of where these stage 1 teams fall, because I think we've seen a couple of them have some really good matches against some of our teams that are already qualified for later stages. So going to be really interesting to see how far they can go.
Yeah. Chris, anything looking forward to?
I mean, at the end of the day, I am looking forward to see how the end plays out. Because, you know, right now we have Vitality on a run, but we're seeing kind of the rise of Falcons. Mouse is still kind of sitting up there as well. But I really think this could be like one of the tournaments that we might see like Falcons, you know, really contest Vitality in. I'm definitely a big Modesty fan, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Of course, shout out to Kep, you know, Mongols, see how far they can run as well. We got to get that in there, give them some love. But I think we could see, you know, some, you know, pretty good runs from some of these teams in the stage 1 into stage 2 and see how they stack up versus those. But really, at the end of the day, it's that stage 3.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah, I think it is crazy to Davis's point earlier. It's with, you don't have any light work when it comes to stage 2 with the likes of Falcons, FaZe, VP, 3D Max. It's like, some of those big dogs should have been in stage 3, but they're going to get extra reps, and I think it's actually going to pay out in Falcons' favor to have those extra reps coming into stage 3. They'll be hot, they'll be fresh, and hopefully they can carry some momentum forward.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things specifically about stage 1 is the fact that these are all best of 1s unless it's an advance or an elimination match. So you play one map, which is normally we see best of 3s. It's kind of the standard, but obviously for the first stage, we're trying to get through it a little bit quicker. But yo, you can lose a pick ban and have a bad map and just get absolutely trounced. Specifically, our NA teams who are pretty good at train playing against somebody else is, you know, obviously you want the train to get through, and ultimately, I think everyone has a little bit of hope for NA on the desk. Hopefully, you know, like we want some NA teams, but I wouldn't put my entire stock into that whole conversation though. So
I'm excited for the twin matchup as well.
Yeah,
that should be fun.
Yeah,
and in the best of 1, I'm curious how all those pick bans are going to go down as well. But it's all or nothing.
That's what I was going to say. And very interesting strategy can come into play when you have the best of 1. I mean, you could have a team that you have game planned all, like they're going to pick this map. You're thinking everything. Oh, their first map, they banned that one. So now the whole plan's shifted. So just one game, got to show up, got to perform, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Go ahead and throw the stage 1 office graphic up for us real quick. We took a poll from everybody in the office. These are the picks from everybody. The big one standing out here, there's a couple big ones. I was the only one who took B8 to go 3-0.
Until
well, now I'm scared because there was a tweet that released today where they might not be playing because of the war in Russia and Ukraine, and you know, we hate to see that a team wouldn't play, but if they don't play, hey, it is what it is. They get a choice just like everybody else, right?
Really big on heroic for the office.
I know everybody's going heroic.
Everybody
except for Seth Henry.
I think it's rightful though. I think they've been except for Seth.
he's got him going 3-1. It's fine.
And there's our Mark Glover, technical director. He's behind the scenes right now. He threw himself up there. So the loser from the office in this one is going to have to make an apology video and wear a clown suit. So
Seth, get ready.
Yeah, Seth, get ready. Those are some wild picks there.
Yes.
If he only knew. If he only knew.
He did. Yeah, I don't know.
Like you said, though, a lot of U.S. fans in here, a lot of complexity picks as well.
NRG is up there too. It's like, and I think our best hope is Liquid, who does auto-qualify to stage 3, but if we've seen anything from Liquid on the international stage, like, I'm not a believer.
Whoa.
I think they've shown glimpses, but definitely not a contender, I don't think, for the championship.
It's like, and ultimately, I agree with you, Chris, where it's like, I love to see the rematch of Vitality and Falcons in the finals, and I hope it goes the distance. I think both those two teams are the only ones that can kind of stand up to each other right now. But there's some Spirit fans out there, too. Hey, I'm not trying to discount it, you know? Mm-hmm. Nick loves Spirit.
I'm a huge Spirit fan.
Cool. Let's move on to the next one. Chris has a clip for us, and I'll let him introduce the League of Legends section. Go ahead, buddy.
Yes, so League of Legends, my favorite clip from this weekend actually wasn't NA or EU or Korea or China. It was actually out of the LCP. We don't show that region enough love, but CFO made a run. They ran it back, so basically they are going to MSI, but they were down 2 games in a best of 5 to Talon, ended up winning the last 3 silver scrapes queued up, but Doggo ended up having a massive quadra kill to kind of get them into that lead in that game. So let's go ahead and roll that clip there and take a look at how CFO was able to punch their ticket to MSI. But look at this here, 6-6, so they're all evened up here with the gold. Slight lead for them, but Doggo just comes out. Perfect just spacing out of here on the Caitlyn, uses that range, good flash at the end here to get onto the Seraphine, which gets that first stun up, and then they're able to get the kill. He's able to get the Quadra. This pushes the ace for the whole team. They're able to kind of push and end the game shortly after that because it was around 25 minutes. They didn't really need the Baron, but they end. But I think it's massive to see this team that did so well in first stand make their return to MSI as one of the two teams. They still have to play the match to see where they stand. Either they auto-qualify and get into groups, or they'll have to do play-in depending on who they have to face in the championship. So they still have to play that game out. But this is a team that was fun. They placed into top 4 in first stand. They absolutely outdid NA. You know, they outdid China as well. And we get to see them return. So I think it's really cool that we get to see them come in again. We don't really talk about them enough because they are one of those regions that kind of got just pushed up into the major region of late. So with the changes of the format that they made to Riot Games this year, so it's cool to see them making it back again as they run, in my opinion, the only working 6-man roster where they have the rotating top. Really cool to see them play it out. But let's go ahead and jump into LTA and LEC. We did have some great games over this weekend as well.
Yeah.
So we had Team Liquid moving in, and they were able to defeat Dignitas 3-1. We had Shopify Rebellion come out and prove almost everyone wrong on that analyst test, myself included, with an amazing 3-0. It was a really great series to watch from them. And if you're a 100 Thieves fan, it was probably one of the worst series to watch.
I know you were saying that the pick ban was awful for those guys.
No, it was. I was looking at their drafting, and it doesn't look like they were adapting. So, of course, League of Legends patches every couple of weeks. So you have to adapt to that. Sometimes it's big, sometimes not. But the meta is always shifting in League of Legends. So you always have to account for that. And it didn't really look like 100 Thieves were adapting to the shift in meta. They were... You know, they had, at one point they picked Sejuani in their first round picks. You go through second ban phase, they leave up Emilio for some reason, which has been a big counter to Sejuani lately because his ult pretty much cleanses whatever CC is around them, which is a big cleanse onto the Sejuani ult as well. They pick it, leave Emilio up the whole entire game. Sejuani's throwing out ults, Emilio's cleansing them, and they can't really follow up with it. And it just looked like they weren't able to adapt to it. And then game 3, they pick Riven into a double tank. Mundo, Orin are picked, and they pick Riven into it. And then with Smolder, who is a scaling ADC, they have no winning lanes at this point, and you expect the Smolder to get to late game. I'm a little confused as to what they were doing, and I'm sure a lot of other people were as well that were watching the game. So Shopify, a lot of stocks up.
Yep.
They were rising throughout the regular season. I didn't think that they would have made that rise until split number 3, the summer split that we're going into. They have completely proven me wrong, and they've kind of moved up here. And now they're going to face off against Team Liquid, who beat them for the 3rd place seeding match 2-0, where Yuji actually first came in and played his first match. So we have a lot to go into there and unpack as we move into the next rounds for the playoffs.
And it's really an exciting time for all the playoffs, right? The qualifiers to MSI, once again, EWC as well on the line for a lot of these teams.
Yeah.
And then we're getting into this kind of depth of fearless draft where we're getting to these best of 5s, right? The CFO Flying Oysters is a great example where, like, it was a very exciting match for a very impactful game for them. And we're seeing that across the board. And I hope we see it specifically in NA because it's like I'd love to see, the Cloud9 FlyQuest rematch where Cloud9 can maybe show up because they are a more structured team and they did lose to them originally, but they're going to have another shot at it. Same with Team Liquid as they kind of battle their way through the losers bracket on the same side of it. So interesting to see. But yeah.
My favorite part from the weekend was Shopify's coach, Revan, calling out 100 Thieves between game 2 and 3. He was like, I can't remember exactly the wording, but he was asked basically about like the draft and everything and how it was going. And he just comments and says, 100 Thieves is just a team of throwers. Like they're just going to throw. We're just going to pick we're going to pick our plan and we're going to let them come to us and we should easily win. So I thought that was hilarious.
100 throws for sure.
Honestly, it's true. But the funny thing is that, so on one of their previous matches, they actually had played Aurelia top for General Sniper. And then he goes, well, I'm not going to pick Aurelia again. This time he switched it over to Riven, and I don't see the correlation. I would have much rather have seen actually the Aurelia again over that, or maybe the Aatrox. I can't remember if the Aatrox was banned or not, but it just seems like Riven, out of all the champs that he could have picked top lane, I would have even rather have seen maybe like a Bane top lane at this point if you're going to try to pick something like that, because if she's going to get the orange, she probably wins that lane a little easily because she can outrange him. Her silver bolts do the % damage, but you pick the Riven, and I'm just like, I don't see how you win this. And I don't see how you get your Smolder to late game because none of your lanes are going to win at this point.
Like the game 3, like you said, every single lane they were outclassed, and it was just a smashing. Like the 100 Thieves had no chance of winning the 3rd match.
The highlights were not good.
No, and no highlights.
Bunch of lowlights.
Okay, cool. Let's show our pick'ems from last week just to see. I just want to highlight this one thing. Davis picked Shopify over 100 Thieves with myself. It was a great story. You know, we saw this happen, kind of play out, and obviously we had a small sample size because there wasn't that much action in some of the other games right here, so we invested a lot in League of Legends. But just so we know for future segments, that means Davis is going to be our number 1 seed going into the pick band later today, so that'll be exciting as well. But wanted to show the pick'ems. Obviously, we still have the Counter-Strike ones that are coming up tomorrow, so those best of ones will start.
Yep.
And then anything else around the league that you guys saw this weekend that you want to shout out for the audience?
I actually do. I have something that I want to shout out because I remember last week we commented on some online Face-It matches that Simple did not perform good in.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm back with another one. This week we have FaZe versus Mongols in online Face-It.
Okay.
Simple, 44-13.
He did fry. It's true.
Love that.
I've seen the tweet.
He's back.
How dare you? Okay, there are 5 teams in North America when you actually look at true North American teams, but the number 6 one is the Mongols. Okay, and you can't discount the Mongols because they got NA support behind them.
They do.
So, and it was close. It was 17-19.
Yeah, it was
With
very close.
3 overtimes.
Whoa. But did you see they didn't even have their 5th. They had a random level 9 on their team.
Exactly. He's probably better. They should drop him and pick up him instead of a Liege or whoever it was.
Whoever was missing. Oh, yeah. Random level 9. The gear drop for.
Let's play. Yeah. Put him on there.
Put him on the team. Hey, he beat the Mongols. He's probably actually out here like hitting up an agent like, hey, sign me, please.
It was Davis.
Oh, it was
Davis.
Davis.
It was just me.
It was just me. I was just hanging out with my FaZe boys.
Yeah.
FaZe up.
Well, it's interesting, and we didn't talk about this during the Counter-Strike segment, but like the FaZe boys, it's like, it's going to be exciting. Simple's going to bring the views, and he has been grinding. Now, is it going to be enough? I'm not a believer. I love the name. I think he's great, you know, and it's against the Mongols, too. We don't really think the Mongols is amazing, so.
You just said they were the number 16?
I say they have the support of North America,
Don't worry.
that they're going to win.
We'll come
okay?
back to this later. We'll come back to this.
Yeah, we will. We'll come back to it. Okay, cool. Let's go to our next segment. We got some clips from the weekend. Davis, you're up front. Go ahead, give us the clips that you saw that you liked.
Yeah, so I'm jumping into the Team Liquid matchup from this weekend, and we're gonna look at Yuji. It was their match against Dignitas, and we're gonna look at his play because I think Yuji's actually a very good player. Like I think he's very mechanically. Just a good mechanical player, but I think his anxiety is pretty evident when he's on the Rift. And so this is actually not the right clip. Here we go. This is the correct clip. So we're going to see the Baron first. And so right here, they're obviously at a disadvantage. It's a 5-on-3. Dignitas is probably going to get this Baron. Yuji goes in for the steal. He goes in very, very early, as you can see, and just kind of dies for free. We're going to look at another clip here. You can see him. He tries to pick off Jace and get some early damage on this, which is actually a really, really alert play to try to get him out of the fight for this Elder Dragon. But the problem is he's so tunnel visioned on getting the damage onto Jace and trying to get him out of the fight that he doesn't realize the pressure from the other teammates coming and collapsing on him. And so he actually gets caught himself. And him being the jungler, once he gets caught, their chances to get the Elder Drake are just gone. And I think just these plays were like really, really close to being really good, but he was just a little bit too impatient and he went a little bit too early, didn't fully think out the situation. And I think that's something that you are going to see when you have brand new players to a professional league. And like I said, he's almost there, but I don't think he's experienced enough yet to really make these plays.
I'm going to come to Chris right after this, but ultimately what's interesting about this one, this was Team Liquid beat them in 3-1, but they did lose this game, and those are 2 very impactful moments in team fights they lost because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree. You're watching Yuji, and I always thought to myself, would Umpty have made those smites anyways? Probably not, Umpty, but he probably would have timed it better, though. But the issue is you're looking at a lot, and I'm wondering on how much he, in the over-anxiety of thinking, you look at a champion like Maokai, and we're kind of going over this, and I was, going over the stats on the Q actually does bonus magic damage to monsters. So when he has a really easy Q smite, and it will usually just take someone out. But the other thing I was looking at with Davis that I hadn't really picked up on earlier was that the timer, his ult actually wasn't up for Maokai. And I'm not sure if Team Liquid knew this or not. So I think a lot of that over-aggression on that first play was not knowing that the ult wasn't up and he had time to get in, because usually during that play, Maokai might also ult, so he stops anyone from getting into range. So Yuji might have been like, oh crap, well, it's 3 of us versus 4 of them. Aatrox is teleporting in. We know this now. If he ults, there's no way I can get in. So he goes in a little bit early, and that timer may have been out. And the second clip, that one to me, I was just like, it's good positioning, maybe if you're not against the center.
Yep.
Interesting.
It was almost really good positioning, but then it just crumbled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like one of those situations where the younger player was kind of just getting a little overconfident after they won the first map, and he's like, yo, I can do some crazy stuff map 2, and he just kind of went for it.
That's what it felt like when you see like the body language of the character movie. It feels like the teammates are like, yo, chill, bro, like it's good. You don't have to go. And he's like, I got this.
Yeah,
like,
in between maps 2 and 3, the coach was like, all right, bro, stop, just relax a little bit.
I also think it's interesting that you just did that whole like those comms with like that energy, because when I hear their listen-ins, I genuinely hear him calming like that. Like he's calming out a lot of stuff, and it's like really great, but you can tell he's so like quick, anxious, and then it's like he didn't fully think out the whole entire play.
Yeah.
Now he's too extended, and
and that's the mark of like a player from a lower league coming to an upper league, is just like not taking the time to be patient and make sure that you communicate, hey, I'm gonna jump now, and your team is like, no, wait 3 seconds, wait 5 seconds.
You don't need the crazy FPS comms in a game like League of Legends, unless certain team fight situations, but you calm down just a little bit.
Yeah, and you think maybe also because during the match against C9, they also they put Umpty into game 3 on that one as well. So maybe it's a little bit of, okay, I did well versus Shopify, who's a team that's a little similar around Dignitas's level. We do well there, right? We win 2-0. Now we play against C9, get absolutely dog walked. And then you go into the next one. Maybe he's trying to say, okay, I do deserve this starting spot again. Yeah. Granted, he did play all the games for it, so they decided not to put Umpty in. Not sure coach's decision on that. You know, could be Umpty's wrist hurting, or they just want to give him more experience. Game 5, if they got there, maybe they do sub in Umpty. But, you know, you're expecting a lot from Core JJ, in my opinion, on this, where you guys are correct, where he's just a little over eager as that younger player. So you need someone kind of like Core to reel him in a little bit. Yeah. Maybe that kind of happened those other 2 games, because his stats weren't very good from that whole entire series. Yeah. So even in the games that they won, it was a lot of Beyond carrying that game for them. So we'll have to see how he does.
Game 2 coaching session. I want to see what happens.
Is,
do you want to do your clip as well next?
We actually, let's go ahead and jump into that. So this is a big one for me. So Jin G. So now we're going to LCK. I'm staying away from LTA and LEC, but Jin G, with this fight, take down Bro and go 18-0 in the LCK. And I mean, I could go on and on about this fight, but they end with 36 map wins, 5 losses. There was no one that could take them down. The closest that they got to getting taken down was the match they had earlier that week was versus NS Red Force, who was the team that last year in 2024 broke their record streak. This time they got the redemption, they got the win there. They went into Bro, which was their last game, probably felt really good because Bro hasn't been doing as well as NS Red Force, and they got the 18-0, right now looking like the best team in the world.
Wow.
By far. But I mean, their stats were just crazy, especially their win rate when they were ahead at 15 minutes, which is pretty much almost every single game, is 100%.
It's crazy.
They don't drop when they get that lead.
This is against Hanwha, who won first stand convincingly, right? Like, that's the same group. It's crazy.
You're exactly correct on that. When they played against Hanwha, they were like NS Red Force. They were able to take one game, but that's only one. You're not able to take the series, and they're beating first stand, like you said, absolutely correct. They're beating this team that went to first stand and dog walked everybody. Now they're getting dog walked. So MSI, what are we looking at? Like, the only thing is maybe during playoff, Hanwha can get a buff like they did last time, and beat Jin G in playoff, get that playoff buff possibly. But right now, man, they're looking really good.
Did Hanwha lose to someone in first stand? It was KC, right? Did they?
They lost one game.
I think it
off
was
of
to KC. I think it was.
But they didn't lose.
Oh,
to
it wasn't.
CR.
It was just a game. Yeah, that was. I mean, ultimately, it's like, and we were talking about this earlier when we were doing some Valorant pick'ems, but like, it's really hard to compare region to region because you don't get to see them play, except for that, 3 times a year you get Worlds, you get MSI, you get First Stand. But it's interesting because it's like, based off of Gen.G's pool and record, it's like I put them far and above number 1 then because they're pretty scary.
18-0 in the LCK is quite the feat. I mean, that's pretty good right there.
That's a Tom Brady season right there, okay? You got 17-0, the Patriots walking their way to the Super Bowl, okay?
We got Faker who's struggling for 3rd, and Gen.G's 18-0, so.
Yikes.
Very wild. Insanity. Okay, cool. Nick, give us your clip, man. Go ahead. Let's go to number 3.
Kane, Zera, and Envy going into Challenger Split 2 Grand Finals. Kids cracked. Let's see the clip.
Gets caught out as he tries to get across, but Extra can only find the one. Kane steps up. Empress active. Dismisses away. Now looking for his next target. And it's Shondex who falls. Kane, though, is a problem. Kane in a position to run through their back line. The cut amongst the pigeons. He baits the op shot, swings the line, and it's his 3rd for the round. It's on Akri now, who shuts him down when it's...
Yeah, Envy was up 12-4 at that point in time, and AG decided that they wanted to make a little run. And as you saw in that clip, it was 12-10, but hats off. That kid is probably the best player in North America right now. However, due to the fact that he's 16 years old, he can't play on a champions team just yet. But that team looking great has Inspire, a.k.a. Baby J from the FaZe and 100T years. But that team's looking good. Shout out to Envy.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing Envy more and more all over the place, right? We see him in Halo. We see him in this. We've seen them in Marvel Rivals. They're just making moves. They're talking about Counter-Strike stuff. It's crazy to see that org kind of fighting their way through in a lot of different areas to be able to be a top competitor again.
Yeah, got another announcement coming tomorrow, actually.
Secrets released.
Yeah.
It's a really good team there. That's a really good team there. Ion as well, Poppin, both really good players.
Yeah.
I came from the amateur Valorant scene. I actually used to play a little bit with Ion.
Whoa, buddy.
I used to play with Ion.
No big deal, no big deal.
But that was back. He was the youngest Radiant ever too in Valorant.
Really?
I don't know if that still. I don't know if that still was the record. But yeah, he was Radiant at like 14. I think is what it was.
Yeah,
Cool.
bunch of youngsters on that team.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
Poppin's really good too. Really good initiator.
And ultimately, we're going to go to Toronto as well around the same time for Call of Duty to see the Masters event for Valorant too. So that's kind of coming. Everything is championship. We're in championship season.
Championship season.
It's amazing.
Everything is in Canada as well because Vancouver for MSI.
Oh wait, yeah. What is going on here?
We have COD
That is
there. COD there.
Everything's there.
Masters there.
CS
Camps
came
there,
here.
Masters, MSI, all in
Good
Canada.
thing CS is in Poland.
We got
Goodness
CS.
gracious. There's a couple more events for CS. It's $1 million tournament every weekend, right?
Well, you could only go to Canada in the summer. You have a 3-month window where you're allowed to go to Canada, and this is the time.
That is true.
That is true. It is. Okay, cool. Let's go to our next segment. It's a favorite. We love it here on the desk. We hope you love it here at home. Clutch or kick? I get to go first.
Ooh.
I know. I'm bringing mine up first.
Okay.
Go
What you got,
ahead.
what you got?
Throw my lower third up there. I got you. I got some. Okay. Bestia, they got knocked out, right? I'd say they got knocked out. They got technically limited because they didn't bring their visas on time, but they said they did bring their visas on time, and now they're suing Blast. But that's not the story. The story here is the clutch for Team Legacy. Team Legacy took their spot, which is a team that didn't make it to the major originally. Now they're going to have an opportunity to play and make it. Now, this is not going to be a winning team, but I think this is super clutch for Team Legacy to be able to compete because BCA got eliminated from the tournament based off of their technicality. So that's my clutch right there. If you think Legacy gets a clutch, go ahead, let it happen. Anybody want to go first?
I think Chris wants to go first.
I'm deciding. Kim.
Oh, okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
do switch arounds.
I'll go first because I'm gonna clutch it. The only reason I'm gonna clutch it though is because I cannot stand the fact that we don't have our visas for the major. Like, even if this was a possibility that we might qualify, why don't we have this stuff lined up, submitted, and ready to go in case we do get accepted?
Go ahead, Nick.
Got denied. That's why they had it. It just the states and U.S. and we're not going to get all political here, but yeah, that it wasn't. It wasn't on them.
Blast said they didn't meet the deadline for being able to submit the visas on a timely manner for whatever reason.
But I'm kicking it just because it's like you didn't get invited, you shouldn't even be in the tournament. I'm sorry. Plain and simple.
I'll kick also. So I believe it should be a little bit of Blast also trying to make sure that they do meet that. Because if you're qualifying for it, you need to help the team get in there, make sure that everything is working for them.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing a little too much about this. Like the visa's not working for like multiple different games. And it just kind of sucks to see when you put a lot of work in and you can't do it because visa issues that should be already, helped with to get in. I don't know. It sucks when you just can't do it. Bestia, sorry, you can't come in because of it. So
the big thing with this story is there was a lot of top pro teams that were like, let them in. We understand that they didn't meet the deadline, but let them in. A lot of teams were shopping for them. They tried everything, but now they're obviously going to war with Blast over it. But I'm sorry, you have 32 different teams here. Don't invite the 35th team out of nowhere. Just give it FF. You lose 1 or 2 matches, especially since stage 1 is best of 1. You're not even losing that much. Just give somebody a free pass.
I don't have Legacy going 0-3, by the way, either.
Wow. I didn't even
I have
look at
them
that.
getting eliminated, but it's at 2-3.
Okay. Understand.
But I think it's a huge. I mean, I think about that. If you're a player, you're a competitor. Like somebody else gets knocked out because of a visa, and you get a chance to be able to play because of it. I think that's dope.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's perfect. I mean, I don't need to research this more, but I mean, if they miss the deadline, I think that they shouldn't make it. I mean, it's just. I also played a lot of golf. There's a wait list on every golf tournament. If you don't get your qualifications and you don't get in by the deadline, you're kicked out, and a guy from the wait list comes on. So I think this is a perfect example of that. You didn't have your stuff ready. All right, next person.
All right, I'm 2-2 now. I gotta convince the other 2.
One day.
One day. Nick, go ahead. You're next.
All righty. Franchising and single international leagues are the way to go. They're so much better than everything else. It's a weird thing to say because franchising's a little misleading. However, Call of Duty has it figured out. When you want to know what's going on in the COD League, you know where to go. When you're looking at League of Legends, when you're looking at CS, when you're looking at Valorant, you got to go to 16 different places, look at 16 different things, and understand 16 different possibilities and promotions and relegations. And it's like, if you were lost during Chris's conversation about League of Legends and how that team got its spot, but it didn't get its spot, it's just way too confusing. Let's simplify it. One international league for your video game.
I have mine if you want it, but you can go first if you'd like.
I'm kicking.
Okay.
I think the franchise league just gatekeeps too many people out. I think if you want to be able to join the league, you need to have an opportunity and a platform to be able to do it. Create your own organization. If you can fund it, if you can figure out how to make it make sense, you should be able to do it. So I don't like the franchise model really at all. I think we should adopt more like a club system, just like club soccer from Europe. And if the interest is there, if the game is good and the passion is there, the people will follow. So let's focus on making the game good. Everything else will follow along.
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm going to kick also. So I actually don't even really like franchising in League that much either. Like they buy into their spots. And right now you have maybe one team that can get demoted from NA, and that is going to be disguised just because they have the guest slot. But this kind of goes more to the Los Ratones. So Los Ratones is doing really well. I really think that they could be a top 8 team in Europe, but they can't get in because it costs too much money and Cadril can't pay that. So I think if they had promotion relegation, it'd be a lot better. And so that's why I'm kicking.
I'm with you, Nick. Clutch it up. I'm going to take the side of the organization on this one. The problem with the non-franchising model is it creates so much turmoil for the teams themselves. They just don't know where to go. They don't know who to talk to. There's no support system for them. One tournament operator has rules this way. One has a different set of rules on the other side. It just creates all this chaos, and it also creates financial instability because if I perform poorly, I get knocked out of my league, and I've spent millions of dollars to get to this point. And that's just not sustainable from a business model. If we have it where it's open-ended and open play everywhere, then there'll be no money to be able to reinvest into it because it'll all be scattered everywhere. There's no real winners there in that side. So it makes it really hard.
Yeah, I think that was my mistake. And English is my fourth language, but it's like franchising necessarily isn't the answer. It's just you need a single international league, whether it's franchising or something else. It's just when you look at CS, you have ESL, PGL, and Blast. It's like some play in some don't play in the other. When you look at League, there's some where these rules apply, others where it doesn't. They're fighting for this many spots here, but not just one international league, please.
I see the benefits and the cons of each side.
Yeah.
I think it's a super I don't know what the word is, just hard thing to navigate and try to figure out. But I don't know. I think staying away from franchise personally.
As a Halo guy, I think they've got it figured out. You have your you have your regionalized tournaments, but every LAN is one international LAN.
Okay, cool. We'll leave that one there. Let's go to the next one. Who is it?
Davis, what you got?
Give it to him.
Going back to Counter-Strike, I said earlier we would come back to this. FaZe is going to have the experience.
Oh my gosh.
Average age 28.9. They ain't getting nervous on stage. This is simple. This is Kerrigan. Okay. This is Rain. Elise. They're not gonna have nerves on stage. They got extra time to prepare. They gonna have the experience buff. And don't forget, who was your Shanghai major finalist? FaZe up, baby.
I'm going first.
You're going first.
They're old. They're bad. They're going to sell tickets because it's simple. This whole idea, it's like if Tom Brady came out of retirement tomorrow and tried to go play football and he had been sitting on a couch for 3 months. That's what simple is, right? Before simple, this was just a bad FaZe roster, right? Like Kerrigan not doing great on the IGL side. Elige not performing. Rain not who he was. All of these pieces not in the same place. This is an old, bad roster. These guys suck.
Can I sell for him? Because I'm gonna clutch this up a little bit here.
Don't you give the old heads.
He didn't say that they were gonna win. He just said that they were gonna perform well, and they have the experience to do this. I wish I was able to go back because this was my clutcher kick from a couple weeks ago. But I said FaZe was gonna make the playoffs. So if he voted otherwise, I'm gonna be really upset. And I am clutching his today. But no, they've got the experience. They've got the trophy case. They can do it.
And this is just FaZe, right? We're purely looking at FaZe's experience.
Hey!
So they have the age experience. I don't think they have the CS2 experience though, because Simple's coming in to CS2. He doesn't have so much experience, and we're seeing him trying to ramp up to it. But now we're looking at every other team's experience in CS2 compared to the age experience. I'm not going to buy into it.
With Simple, we have 44 kills against the Mongols in a pub match.
Yeah, what do you mean?
That's a double. That gets a
Bro
double.
just dropped 40.
Double kick on.
Bro dropped 40.
Against thanks to CJ, the number 6 team in the world.
Yeah, number 6 NA team, okay, from Mongolia.
Yeah.
This is crap.
Until this major concludes, they are the most recent major finalists. Them in spirit.
We're jumping like 6 weeks ahead because we know you might not be here, CJ. But what is your final placing prediction for FaZe?
On major?
Are they even going to make stage 3? Are you saying?
They're starting phase 2.
Yes, they are. So they've got to make top 8 in stage 2.
They probably will make it out, but it will be a 3-2 match. There will be an elimination or promotion match.
Okay, so then in stage 3, they obviously made top
0-3,
16.
bottom.
So top 16, that's their...
Yeah. Right now, yes.
Wow.
And that's just because they got the simple buff, but that's not enough of a buff, so we're clear.
Interesting.
I mean, unless Elige plays out of his mind, but he's not. He's not playing out of his mind.
Top 8, top 6 right now, and we'll see how they play in stage 2.
Chris, go.
All right, my turn. Clutch or kick. So for mine, I was moving away from League of Legends a little bit, but I am Katowice being taken out, and I think it is better that they are moving to Krakow, which is a bigger city, has a bigger stadium for them, and I think overall for this, it is just absolutely going to help them explode because I think we're seeing a lot more people come and look into the scene, but when you have more tickets to be sold, it's just better for the scene in general. So I think them moving it from kind of what we think is an iconic city to this new city. And I saw that over there. But I think overall it'll help in the long term. I think we'll get there to the point of where it may be the iconic city for IEM. And I think it has to start now.
I just want to keep in mind for the rules of Clutch or Kick, for the viewers at home and for the folks on the desk, you are allowed to change your mind. You can say something in and be like, oh, that was a good argument, I'm convinced. So I'm just going to let Nick go now and see what happens.
Kick! Katowice's been a stand and a staple in the CS scene for years. Donk was born at Katowice, and there's just so much history there. It's hard to replace it and say, oh, let's build some new history. I don't like it. We need to stay at the staple. Quit trying to make moves.
Davis?
I'm really torn.
I'll go.
Oh wait.
I'm on the fence. I just want to make that clear. I am on the fence. I looked this up on a map and I posted it in the chat so you guys know it's an 80-mile difference. That's the difference between, I don't know, not even Raleigh and Charlotte. Like that's further, right? Like this is like right down the road. The only reason this has moved is because that event has sold out and that venue is not big enough. Okay? So why don't we just build a better venue? Like why are we going all the way to another city when we can just upgrade our venue? Like this is dumb. Like Katowice is Katowice. Why are we going to Krakow? Krakow, boom.
But that's part of
Kick that. Keep it in Katowice. It's bull. Okay, I'm gonna send a strongly worded letter to someone.
I'm gonna clutch now.
Wow.
And it was because of a point that he made though, because I think kind of like what Chris said, like Katowice is a legendary place within Counter-Strike Go. CS2, it's been all right, but it's a legendary place for Counter-Strike Go. Krakow, I think it's a very good place. As you just said, Katowice, they would have to build like this insane arena and spend all this money on something else. If it's right down the road, I think we just switch it over to Krakow. We start forming the legacy of Krakow for CS2. Katowice, great for Counter-Strike Go. We have its new home, maybe with Krakow. So I'm going to give it a clutch. I was really on the fence because I do think it hurts. If you're a Counter-Strike fan, it hurts because this is where so many legends, so many just great plays were made at Katowice. But if it's time, it's time. And if the reason is because we've outscaled the venue, I think that's perfect. Let's go.
I'm gonna.
Let Chris go.
It's kind of funny you're saying that because I was thinking along the lines of him. Just because in the soccer world in MLS, everyone's like, build soccer-specific stadium. So it kind of sounded like that. That's why I was laughing about it. But my main point was kind of along his. I'm thinking, like, if it's just, that distance and you already have the venue, like, I don't think that really the revenue is enough to say, let's build a massive stadium just so we can host this one event. If we already have it, let's just move it right down the road a little bit. What were you going to say, Nick?
No, mine's real sports as well. It's like the Yankees. With old Yankee Stadium and new Yankee Stadium, they moved it 15 feet, catty corner on a four-way intersection across to build this new stadium. Old Yankee Stadium had so much history and lore, and everybody was like, no, we don't want this new one. They're like, no, we're going to win all these new world championships in this new one. And they haven't, and everybody still wants the old Yankee Stadium back. They should have, to your point, just upgraded it.
80 miles can't be that bad, right? Just lift the stadium for Cal, move it over to Katowice.
This looks to me like Katowice realized what they had and they charged them more money and then they just went to Krakow because it was like too expensive to go there or something like that. Because like I don't know if it's a square footage thing or more seats sold thing or whatever. I also don't know enough about the local municipalities of like, is it, hey, the tax dollars go here as opposed to here? But like, if it's that kind of weird game, this just seems so odd.
Us
why you
Polish,
move
we
this.
don't tax much.
Well, that's true. I don't know. Maybe there's no tax.
It is a little bit of a money thing. So they do have a deal with the city for money to come in. So they did make that money decision as well. Maybe because of the higher population within that city, they also bring in a little bit more money that they can make that deal also.
Yeah, could be all those things. I don't know. But
keep it in Katowice.
Good clutch. All right, last segment of the day. We're going pick ban. We got 10 topics.
Ooh.
They're on your screen right now so that you can see them. Davis is our winner of last week, so he's going to get the last pick and the first pick. We're going to start with a ban from the one and only Topher. Go ahead. Give it to us, buddy.
So I was looking through a lot of these. There's actually some pretty good ones. I think I'm going to have to go after fighters again. And this time I'm going to go Spargo Smash Brothers win and ban that.
You're going to ban Smash Bros.
I was targeted last week.
So you're targeting.
So this week I'm targeting this time.
He's targeting himself.
Not myself. I'm targeting the other fighter this time, so I didn't get to talk about my fighters last time.
I'm so sorry to the FGC community. We got 2 bans. Okay, Nick, go ahead. Ban your next one, buddy. What you got?
I'm banning Fortnite.
Oh, we're not talking about Fortnite.
Nah, get out of here.
That's a
probably-
stab to my heart right
Honestly,
there.
that's a good choice.
That's a stab to my
like
heart.
that. All right, Davis, your pick, buddy. What
You get to
got?
pick.
I'm going with Aurora and his CEO
Ooh.
and his big bet. Because it didn't pay out for him at all. So I am very, very sorry for the Aurora Gaming CEO. I know he had a lot of high hopes. He was really hoping that Inter Milan would win the Champions League final. and they did not. 5-0 PSG. So RIP all this guy's money.
Inter Miami might have had a better shot than Inter Milan.
They really might have.
It was kind of an outlandish bet, right? Those soccer teams.
I'll be honest. Before the match started, I had a lot of confidence in Inter Milan, so I don't think it was that outrageous. But how it unfolded, it was very outrageous.
No, this guy buys the roster and then he's throwing $700,000 on a random sports bet. Definitely seems like he's a rich guy with money to spend. So.
I don't know. I was about to say, I know 3 of us here watched that match. I actually did not have a lot of faith in Inter Milan, especially after the runs through the Italian league as well. That was a little bit crazy. I don't know if he just kind of randomly picked one or if he really thought Inter was going to do well.
Kind of to argue that, I really thought that they were going to rise to the occasion because of how bad they did in the Serie A at the end of the year. But that's a different.
I don't think that CEO put $700,000 thinking they weren't going to win. So.
Yeah.
Could have been ultimate fanboy behavior. Too.
Yeah, maybe. Who's like owns the other team, hedges his bets. I don't know. Weird. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Chris, you're next. Go ahead. Give us the next.
Mine is G2 at 3 major sporting events.
Okay.
G2 has been on a great run through events. So now we have Valorant. We're going to have them in League of Legends and CS2. So my big question, though, was I want to know everyone's rankings for them because I currently have them first for Valorant, doing the best at Valorant. I'm going to have them second at MSI, doing, I actually think that they may make top 4 at MSI with how they're playing. And then CS2, they're going to fall a little short just because we have the already big dogs coming out.
Yeah, they might go for the three-peat, brother. I mean, they've got a shot. I mean, we just talked about how Gen G is amazing. I get it. But G2 looks really good in the LEC, too. It's not like it's impossible, but that would be my only one to be the League of Legends one. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I thought you were saying that they had a shot to win at Counter-Strike.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I mean, Counter-Strike 1 is also a long shot.
They are in the tournament.
But
They are in stage 3, so that's a
it
plus.
is impressive that this org has been able to navigate those things.
It's insane. We've been talking about it for months, actually, before we ever started recording any of these shows, that they are probably one of the best gaming orgs at being able to produce talent across multiple games.
They are the giants of esports. They really are.
Yeah.
And they have been for a while, so.
Yeah, Chris, you get a point for that one. I'm doing points.
One thing I wanted to comment on too is I think it's really crazy if you would have looked at G2 at the beginning of this year and to say that their Counter-Strike team was their probably least performing team of the year. To look at it now, I think that shows just how in a good spot they are.
Well, and they won on the money side, right? Like they made so much from that Monacy deal that it's going to be able to catapult them. I think they're going to end up as a top 4 team in the end once they do some roster moves. But that'll probably happen after the major. Sorry, we're over the time. That's my bad. Nick, your pick is next, brother.
I'm going to pick Magnus Carlsen losing in chess.
Got it.
And I've got to back my boy Magnus here because everybody's giving him hate for slamming the chessboard and getting a little upset, but I like it when people show emotion. He immediately was like, okay, that was a little too much. He tried straightening out the board a little bit. He gave the guy a handshake. He was still kind of pacing back and forth a little bit. And he even went back over and gave the guy a pat on the back and realized, hey, good game. Gukesh came out later, even in an interview, and was like, I'm losing 99 out of 100 times against this guy. I got lucky. So I got my boy Magnus's back.
I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
The timing was perfect for all of it because it was like the instant smash into respect.
Yes.
And it was so well timed. I was just like, the emotions were all over the place.
Isn't chess supposed to be classy though? I feel like he lacks some classy. He lost like a chump. He lost like a chump.
Like a chump?
Like a chump. He lost like a chump.
I think, I'm not very invested in the chess, so I'm kind of an outsider looking in. But from my perspective, looking at this, it seems like Magnus has been one of the people that I've seen that's kind of taken chess to this, away from the classy, kind of obedient kind of structure. So I think that kind of fits into his personality, from what I've understood of it.
Yeah, I just think of the Queen's Gambit on Netflix, so it was kind of classy there. We lost a little bit of that. I agree.
That was like the 1920s. Times have
What the hell's
changed.
happened? We've fallen far. Okay, Davis, what's your ban?
I'm going to ban high-res cutting their executives to funds.
Yay. All right. There you go. Okay, we got that ban. Nick, your next pick.
All right, let's move on over to... Let's talk about Spirit.
Okay.
because, I'm the Spirit's #1 fanboy. A tweet came out saying, since September of 2023, they have earned the most money.
Oh, there you go.
Which is crazy to me.
Yep. Yeah. And this is we don't actually have the tweet, but there's a tweet out there. We can put it in the comments or something, but there's 5 teams that have earned significant amounts of money. Spirit has earned more than Vitality on this, which is crazy because of the current run Vitality is on about 2.2 million, and Vitality is at about 2 million flat. So
yeah, if you look at the trophies at the bottom of that tweet too, it's like I think Spirit has 42 to Vitality's 22. It's Spirit went on a crazy tier 2 run and amassed a lot of their money there to just edge them up a little bit.
absolutely. Okay.
It's crazy in me looking at that picture. I thought it was crazy to see just the amount that Vitality was at with the number of tournaments they've won, because they were the second team with 20-something wins, and you had Spirit first with 40 and Na'Vi third with 40-something. So the fact that they've earned so much money with only 20 wins, it shows they're winning the big time.
That CS2 money ain't no joke.
It ain't no joke. I agree. Okay, Chris, your next pick.
So mine is going to be the Xbox Game Pass. With the new releases in the games. I actually do think this is like pretty good value for everything. So Pat got me onto it. Shout out to Pat from our office, but he kind of priced it up, so I bought into it a little bit. I got to play like Expedition 33, but the big one is like some of the games where it gives you like the so I know let's see, League of Legends gives you like all the league characters that you can play.
Same with Valorant.
My Smurf, the Valorant. We also have I can't think of the name. It's one of the Rainbow Six Siege, where they're having some of the passes with it as well, so you can start getting in-game goodies if you're using this. So I think it's a good way for them to kind of push out some of these games, because if you're using it for one game, you might as well get the stuff for the other ones as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Obviously, I think this is the future of what gaming is going to look like in a lot of ways.
Subscription based.
I always remember. I mean, when we were younger, Davis is still young, but when we were younger. It's like you couldn't always afford to get a new game all the time. Like now I have like adult money, so I just I'm gonna go buy my game. But like when you're a kid, like you don't. And so what do you buy? Well, you get Xbox Game Pass, and so as long as mom pays for that, you get a bunch of games, and I think that's totally cool for the future of gaming on this stuff. So Game Pass is kind of cool.
Game Pass is lit.
Perfect. He's got it. Okay, Davis, last pick. Go ahead. What you got?
I'm doing the Roblox. I have to give this a shout out because I think this number is just absolutely insane. The fact that they have 11.5 million players at the same exact time on any game mode, that's just absolutely outrageous. I mean, the last record was PUBG with like 3-point-something million. This is like almost 4 times that. Is that not ridiculous? Like 11.5 million people were playing this at the exact same time. That's insane.
I think it actually just plays right into what we were just saying about Xbox Game Pass. It's like Roblox is what you create games in there. So you can play any game under the sun, right? So when people play that game, like we're creating esports enthusiasts with that $11 million, 11 million player number. And I think that is really impactful for the future of esports and gaming. I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, me too. 100%.
Agreed.
And this is Grow a Garden. They're not just playing Roblox. They're playing a specific game in Roblox.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
It's Grow a Garden specifically. Not
It's the game mode.
That's concerning.
not Dress for Success
that's
or the
concerning.
the
I need
fashion.
to play this game now.
Yeah, it's got. I haven't heard of it until now, and I'm like 12 million people. Where the freak was I at?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about as well. When I first saw it, and I was like, Grow a Garden. You see the little picture as well, with the little Roblox and the little red garden around behind it, and you're just like, what's happening
People are
here?
slinging peppers.
I have 2 little cousins that they play Xbox or they play Roblox a little bit. I'm gonna ask them, were y'all part of this?
Yeah, we're a part of this.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to do this. This is maybe a mistake. I might DOS myself here. But I actually did points per item. And I want to go through it really quickly so I can tell you guys how I scored some different things. Okay? So, and I'm going to do it publicly for the thing, which so if, I don't know, I'm sorry if this hurts somebody's feelings. So Chris, you got a point for banning Smash. I think that was amazing. That was an awesome play. I love that. Nick, you got no points for banning Fortnite. I think that would have been a great topic.
You hate Fortnite.
I do hate Fortnite.
That's the only reason I banned it.
I think that's a total mistake.
Backfire.
I think it was a great topic. If you look at those, I think that was a good topic. So you didn't get a negative.
I just
you got neutral for that one.
Okay.
Davis, you got a +1 for Aurora. It's a good pick. I like it. I think it's a strong first comment to come out there. Chris, pick G2. I actually like the way you introed G2 when you brought it up. I think that was, you got the point for introing it in the way you did, and I think that was really smart. Nick, Magnus Carlsen, +1. I think that's a great topic. It's fun. You kind of got there in the point. I think your take on it was good. Davis, you got a -1 for whatever you picked here. What was
Roblox.
this? Yeah, no, it wasn't the first one. Oh, it was your ban. You banned.
Oh, the high res.
Yeah, I think that high res topic is a dope.
That would've hit.
I think that one would have hit. I think those dudes are dope. So
Missed opportunity,
you get a negative point for that one. Nick, what did you pick here?
Spirit.
Oh,
Money.
Negative point.
You like money too?
You
I gotta
introduced
quit
the topic.
playing.
You did a terrible job introducing the topic. I had to help you out there, okay?
I gotta quit playing to my audience.
No, don't do that. Minus point.
I'm just gonna pick for me.
You got a
from here on
minus point.
out.
And Chris and Davis both got +1s for the last 2 ones. So there you go.
Bang, bang.
Chris won. Chris won 2 points. Davis 1 point. Nick 0 points. I like the way we do points around here. I'm in control of it. There'll be no contesting the points, okay? Except for if the viewers say.
TJ said this was a great
No,
method.
viewers are your only hope to get out of this, okay?
Okay.
If the viewers say that I've been unruly with my power, then I will listen. But if you guys say anything, I don't care.
The viewer's winner.
Okay, well, that's been a fun show. Thanks for joining us here today to Queued Up. We really appreciate you guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will be back again with another episode. We hope you enjoy the esports action over the next couple of days, and we'll be back talking about it soon. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.